All right, so here is the Vita. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, show you a couple things. I was just enjoying myself testing Pokemon Fire Red on there, or the patched version that I downloaded. I'm starting it up right now. First thing I'm going to show you is how to link the PS4 remote. If you ever want to do it, I have my PS4 remote here linked to it. I'll remove it once I'm done so that you don't have like a ton of Bluetooth devices linked to it or anything. So, oops, let's get that back on there. And right now, it does have a custom theme, a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII custom theme. You can change that. I can show you how to do that. And it's got, I don't know if you ever played Crisis Core before, it's got one of the songs in the background, one of my favorite themes. So I'm going to lower that down. So we're going to go down first to, so here you'll see auto plugin 2. You don't really need that anymore unless you want to mess with that and look for different plugins to add different features to it, but I'll get into that in a bit. I've already set up the PS4 capability, the PS4 remote capability on here. So you'll just go into settings, and then you're gonna make sure your Bluetooth is set up under devices, Bluetooth settings. And then what you're gonna do with the PS4 remote, if you get one, right? I've already done this, so I'm not gonna do it again. But well, I can show you. You're gonna hold the share button and the PlayStation button. You know, hold these two together for 5 seconds until it starts blinking, like that. And you know it's in compatibility mode. It's in pairing mode. I'm gonna shut that off though because I've already paired it. So once you do that, you can turn the remote on. Right once it's paired, turn the remote on. And as long as you have your Bluetooth set up already, it's already paired. So now I'm controlling this thing with my PS4 remote, which I absolutely love. And you can even use this touchpad here to swipe out. Whoops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Swipe out of screens. So like, if I want to go to Vita Shell and I want to swipe out a Vita Shell, I can swipe that down. It'll close it out. Now I'm going to show you where your retro games will be. Let's see if I can get a better angle. There we go. I got this little stand for it for my Vita, like $11 or something on Amazon. So we're gonna go to RetroArch, is where you'll be accessing the majority of your retro games from, obviously. And just one thing to note about this system is that it's a Japanese system. It's compatible with everything because they're region free, but it is a Japanese system, and so the only difference between the American and the Japanese systems was that circle is select and X is exit or back out. So if I'm selecting something, I'm going to hit circle. If I'm backing out of something, I'm going to hit X. You might find that to be different in some apps. So just play around with it. That's also something you can change in one of the settings. I didn't change that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it's fairly easy. I'm just being lazy and I haven't done it. But so with your so just another thing to note about RetroArch, since there are so many games loaded on here and it's a 256 gigabyte micro SD or SD to Vita, it can load a little bit slowly. So like if you're scrolling down this really fast and it freezes, just give it a couple seconds. It's a lot of data. It's a lot of games. So these are the Game Boy games. These are the Game Boy Color games. These are the Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis here. I'll show you the N64 stuff. I only put down the games that you wanted for the N64 because, I mean, in my experience, N64 games just don't run well on a PS Vita. I mean, the app that I got for you is probably one of the best out there. I did a lot of research on it. And you can mess with the settings to make things run a little bit better. I did try out Pokemon Stadium on it a little bit. The sound was a little bit choppy. But again, that's something you want to kind of learn how to mess with some of the settings to make it better. I would Google search that, and you can find tons of guides online. So let's go ahead and go into the Pokemon game. I use MGBA. I actually just accessed it, so I'm just going to go to my recently. This little clock here is for like any recently played games. So I'm just going to go to my recently played. I'm just going to hit circle to select it and circle to run. Sometimes when you select a new game and you hit run, it's going to ask you what core to use. The core is the emulator you want to use. You can pick any emulator you want because there are multiple emulators on RetroArch. I know the ones I've used in the past. So like for Game Boy Advance games, I'll use MGBA. And that's been the best one I've used. So here's the Radical Red version. Pump up that volume a little bit. And again, I am controlling this with my PS4 remote, which again, I can't emphasize enough how amazing it is to be able to do this. I love it. It just feels better than the PS Vita remote, in my opinion. Hit start. Sound might get a little bit choppy on this sometimes too, but when I was playing it earlier, it was pretty good. I was actually getting really into it. This actually sounds pretty great now. I just think it's the beginning music that gets a little bit choppy, but again, there are settings that you can mess with to make that better. So you can see how this is running. There we go. And all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of that, and now I'll show you. Let's see, these are all the games you could ask for. There's a couple other games that I had on here previously that I was downloading for somebody else who had previously wanted this system but backed out. So I just kind of kept them on there. You can delete them if you want. If you want to look for other games, you go to the package store. PKGJ. You start that up, and you can download whatever PSP, PS Vita game you want. Hit triangle for your options. You can select. So I just want to look at US games, and I just want to look at, let's say, PSP games. So let's see. Sometimes the filters don't work. The app's kind of wonky like that, but that's PlayStation. Or you can just select everything and it'll show you everything. And let's say I want to just look at show games. That'll show me PS Vita games. So like if I want to look for Atelier Ryza was a game that I wanted to play. What was it? Atelier Ryza, Atelier something. One of these. So it was one of these games, I forgot. So I can download that. I can download the US version, the Japanese version. Sometimes there's a European version available for certain games. It's basically every PS Vita game is on here. You can download that, take your time. Just make sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection. And that's that. And again, you can filter this and look for PlayStation games, PSP games, DLCs. That's it. So let's go exit that. Here is the N64 emulator. Again, sound can be pretty wonky on this, but this Daedalus X64 is like the best emulator out there. So let's hop into that. It'll always download compatibility databases and update itself every time you start it up. So that's nothing new. I already set these up here. So you have your Pokemon Stadium 1, 2, and Super Smash Brothers. So we can probably see if we can mess with the audio. Oops. No, back out. That's not what I want. I think for this app, you actually have to touch that and go down. So you can, it's got like, let's see, disable synchronous, asynchronous. Oops. Hold on. Go back in there. Let's go ahead and start one of these up. Super Smash Brothers. See, so X is select on this app, on the Daedalus 64 app. So unlike being out in the actual main menu, circle is select and X is X out. For this app, X is select. I'll let you listen to the sound a little bit. You can hear how kind of wonky it can get. But it plays. So, oh, I'm making a video, friend. Sorry. Okay, let's go into one player mode, training mode. I like Link. Let's go against Samus. Can I do that? Can I? Oh, I have to press start. I can't pick who I'm attacking. Okay. Let's go Hyrule. Cool. And again, I'm controlling this with my PS4 remote. So I'm just kind of trying to learn. Oh, there we go. Oh, this is kind of fun. Ooh, what? How did I lost to the training computer? Okay, so that's how that works. Oops. Let me exit that. Exit that. Lower that a little bit. I'm gonna jump into Adrenaline is for your PSP games. Adrenaline tends to close out the first time you start it. That's just how Adrenaline works. It does it on my PS Vita. It does it on PS Vitas. I've seen all over YouTube. It just does that. So just start it up again. Don't panic. And every now and then it may freeze up. I haven't really experienced. I've played it for hours and not had it freeze up. But then I've played it for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden it just freezes up and I have to restart it. It's very rare, extremely rare, but it might do that. Don't panic, just restart it and save often. Here's the memory stick with all the games that you requested on here. Yep. And I know Kingdom Hearts says install data. It's not install data, it's the actual game. That's just how the file was found when I found it. That's just how whoever made it like that. There's Tactics, the City of Duodecim. Yeah, let's go ahead and start one of these up. Let's start God of War, one of my favorites. Let's see how that works. It should work great. I was playing this on my PS Vita a few days ago. And again, PS4 remote, you can probably find them. They're still like $40 or $50. I highly suggest getting one if you're playing this at home. If you're playing it on the road, obviously you're not going to use a remote. New game, hero. Let's skip. Can I skip this? I can't skip. But you can see how it's playing. Come on. Just want you to see how nice the gameplay is on this for PSP. PSP games downloaded onto here. Some of them were a little difficult to find. They weren't in the store, so I had to manually find them, but I got them. Oh, okay, good. It's starting now. All right. Got those Blades of Chaos. right. All right. See how good this plays. And again, so great with the PS4 remote. Love it. Yes, let's quit the game. And then if you want to exit, you just have to, on the PS4 remote, it'll be this button. You just hold it. That acts the same as this button here. You just hold that and you go into settings, and it's gonna ask you, hold on, it's gonna give you some setting options. Unless Adrenaline has crashed, which is very possible. If you ever encounter this where Adrenaline crashes, you're just going to want to go ahead and, or where any of the retro apps crash, you just go ahead and, so it locked up. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so it didn't totally crash. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm back on. So I'm gonna settings. I was having a little issue with the settings. That's weird. I've never experienced that before. Let me see. Maybe it's the PS4 remote. Yeah, it's the PS4 remote. So it thinks the PS4 remote's trying to access something else. So we're just going to go ahead and exit PSPMU. Done. One thing you'll want to note with these systems, dust tends to get stuck in here and in here. And that can give you some stick drift. And stick drift is basically where if you're using the directional pad or one of these buttons, all of a sudden you'll see it like going crazy and moving up like this. If that happens, it happens to my PSP, my Vita all the time. If that happens, this is your best friend. So you're just gonna move this around. Let me just lock that. You're gonna move this thing around and dust it out all the way around. Let's dust that all the way around.